This is an unusual case of Republicans in the Senate writing directly to a foreign government trying to sway U.S. policy. That generally hasn't been done in the past. There was an old saying in Washington that politics stops at the water's edge. But I'd have to say that in recent decades, that saying seems to have gone by the by. And now what we're seeing to a great degree is foreign policy often becoming victim to the sharp political divide here in the United States between Democrats and Republicans, the divide we've seen in our recent elections, where Democrats tend to do better in presidential elections and Republicans tend to do better in elections for Congress. And it's probably something we're going to see for the foreseeable future. Historically in the United States and under the U.S. Constitution, the administration of foreign policy is sort of a shared responsibility between the President and Congress. The President often directs foreign policy, often initiates policies, but those policies are subject to review by Congress, to oversight, certainly to funding by members of Congress, and in particular the Senate has the right to agree to, or that is consent to, treaties and other foreign agreements and trade agreements as they arise. Over the years, there have been swings in terms of whether the President or Congress has more sway over the conduct of foreign policy. Usually during wartime, it's the President that holds sway, but sometimes in the aftermath of wars, it's Congress that takes a leading role. This happened, for example, in the aftermath of World War I, when the Senate rejected the League of Nations Treaty, and also after the Vietnam War in the 1970s, when Congress enacted the War Powers Act that made it more difficult for presidents to unilaterally declare war. I think that Republicans are increasingly looking to the issue of the Iran nuclear agreement as a domestic political issue now. And this is particularly so as we look toward the run-up to the 2016 presidential election. Republicans are determined to try to win the White House in 2016 after 8 years of Barack Obama. There's been obviously a noticeable level of distrust between congressional Republicans and President Obama and his administration in recent years. And I think we're going to see that continue to play out in the final 2 years of the Obama presidency. And I think to a great extent, Republicans now are going to look to heavily criticize the Obama record on foreign policy, and they're going to look to this situation with Iran as one of their key points of argument in terms of the need to change U.S. policy and go in a different direction. And to a great extent, what we are seeing now is that even foreign policy is coming under the influence of this great political divide in the United States, this sharp partisan polarization we've seen developing for 20 years or more between Republicans and Democrats, and different views not only of what the role of the U.S. government should be, but also the role of the United States in the world and our relations with other countries.